34 cents. That is what this commander costs. The average decklist built around him costs $622. Manon. The right hand is a 5-mana Jellyfish out of Edge of Eternities, and he turns the top card of your library into a second hand you get to play from. Here is the whole card. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may cast artifact spells from up there, and artifacts you control gain, tap, add blue, but that blue can only pay for a spell cast from somewhere other than your hand. Read that last line twice, because it is the entire deck. We are breaking down the average Miminon list, every deck on EDHREC merged into one. So you are seeing what people actually run, not my pet build. By the end you will know the engine, the 3-card kill, the math on your opening hand, and the version that costs less than a booster pack. 3,600 people have built him. Almost nobody talks about him. Numbers from EDHREC. He landed in August 2025 and shot straight to 150, third most built commander in the world. Then the new set smell wore off. By this June he was sitting at 656, with 234 fresh decks that month. That is not a dead commander, that is a quiet one. And people built him exactly one way. 358 of those decks are simply tagged artifacts. 138 go combo, 57 go storm, 50 go top deck. Every one of those is the same deck wearing a different hat, because there is only one thing this card wants to do. Here is the honest power read. 268 builders put their list in bracket 3, but 175 said bracket 4 and another 114 said 5. 2 and 5 of these decks are built to end a game, not to dawdle. The salt score is half a point, so nobody is holding a grudge yet. This is not a dawdle deck that happens to be blue. So what is the engine? It starts with the 2 cheapest cards in the deck. Ethereum Sculptor is in 84% of these lists and costs 79 cents. Foundry Inspector is in 77% and costs 39 cents. Both are commons and both do the same job. Artifact spells cost 1 less. Cloud Key is the rare version at 64%, and you name artifact as it enters. Now the expensive one. Sensei's Divining Top, $42 in 60% of lists. Tap it, draw a card, and the top goes back on top of your library. Normally that is a slow cantrip you pay for over and over. With Miminon on the battlefield, the top sitting up there is a card you are allowed to cast again right now. The list runs backups for the commander, because he will die. Mystic Forge does the same job for 4 mana, artifacts and colorless spells straight off the top, and 42% of lists run it. The Reality Chip is a 2 mana equipment that lets a creature play everything off the top, lands included. 55%. Then you get paid for the casting. Uthros Research Craft is a spacecraft, and once you station it up to 3, every artifact spell you cast draws you a card. 57% of lists run it. Forensic Gadgeteer investigates on every artifact cast and knocks a mana off your artifact abilities. 52%. One more piece, and it is the least obvious one on the list. Unwinding Clock untaps all of your artifacts during every other player's untap step. With Miminon out, that means your whole board makes blue mana on all 4 turns of the table, and every drop of it can cast whatever is sitting on top of your library. 39% of lists run it. 2 bodies run the package out. Emery, Lurker of the Lock, costs 1 less for every artifact you control, mills you 4 on arrival, and recasts artifacts out of your own graveyard. Sai, Master Thopterist, makes a Flying Thopter every time you cast an artifact. Both are 60-cent rares. Both are in over half the decks. So the pieces are cheap. Here is how they actually kill somebody. This is the line every version builds towards. Sensei's Divining Top, any one cost reducer, and Manon on the battlefield. 6,200 decks across all of EDHREC are registered with that exact 3-card combo, and it is the top entry on his page. Here it is. Slowly tap the top, draw a card, and the top goes on top of your library. Your reducer makes it cost 0, so you cast it from up there for free. Tap it again. You do that until your library is gone. Then Aetherflux Reservoir in 42% of lists turns all of that casting into 50 damage. 2 things people get wrong at the table. Mimnon's mana can never cast a card out of your hand, so a full grip and a board of rocks is still a dead turn. And he is a 3/4 for 5 mana, so he dies to almost anything. That is why a third of these lists run Lightning Greaves for him and half run Welding Jar to keep the top alive. So a real game looks like this. Turn 2 you land a Reducer. Turn 3 the top comes down for 1 mana and starts filtering every draw. Turn 5 Menon arrives and the top of your library goes live. Turn 6 you find the Reservoir and the whole table loses 50 life at once. And if the Reservoir is not there, the top still just draws your deck until you find something that is. That is the plan. Now let us open up the 99 and count. The average list has an average mana value of 2.28 with the lands taken out, 16 1-drops, 16 2-drops, 13 3s. 8 cards cost literally nothing. Only 4 cards in the entire deck cost 5 or more. This is a deck that empties its hand by turn 4 and then lives off the top. The split is about what you would guess. 31 artifacts, 31 lands, 21 creatures, 9 instants, 3 enchantments, 3 sorceries and a single planeswalker in the average 99. Almost a third of this deck is artifacts, which is the only reason the commander's mana ability does anything at all. The lands are pulling double duty as well. Seat of the Synod is an artifact land in 66% of lists for 93 cents. Darksteel Citadel is another one, and it is indestructible. And Academy Ruins in 47% puts an artifact from your graveyard on top of your library, which in this deck is the same thing as putting it in your hand. So here's the math that matters. With 31 artifacts in the average, 99–94% of your opening hands have at least one of them. You will basically never keep a 7 with nothing to deploy. The question is never whether you have an artifact, it is whether you have the one that makes them free. Lands are tighter. 31 of them means only 38% of opening hands hold 3 or more, which sounds terrifying until you count the 9 mana rocks behind them. And the 5 cost reducers the cards that make the top 3 show up in a third of opening hands and just over half of them by turn 6. Now the part you came for. What does this cost if you are not rich? The budget list swapped the money cards for these. Cryogen Relic draws on the way in and on the way out for 34 cents. Steel Swarm Operator is a flyer that taps for artifact mana 26 cents. Shimmer Mirror lets you cast every artifact at instant speed 40 cents. Then the glue. Scour for Scrap tutors an artifact and buys one back from the graveyard, 36 cents. Codex Shredder is a 1 mana artifact that returns anything from your yard, 35 cents. Kappa Cannoneer costs 6 on paper and about 2 in practice, has Ward 4 and stops being blockable every time an artifact lands, 36 cents. The 6 cards I just showed you cost $2.07 together. Add the 2 commons plus Sai and Emry, and 10 of the deck's most synergistic cards come to $4.50. The full average list is $622 and one builder in 10 has registered this as a budget deck. And honestly, the cheap version plays better than people expect. Mechana Assembler makes it 2/2 robot every turn an artifact lands for 27 cents. I have watched this deck lose because the combo never showed up and win because a pile of cheap robots kept attacking. Do not cut the bodies to squeeze in one more tutor. But if you do have the money, here's exactly where it goes. Half the price of the average deck is these 3 cards. Mox Opal is $238 all by itself and only 27% of lists run it. Urza Saga is $40 and builds a construct that grows with every artifact you own. Lotus Petal is $31 for 1 burst of mana. Above that tier, 2 cards genuinely change games. Mana Vault in 21% of lists is 3 mana on turn 1 and the fastest road to a turn 3 commander. The One Ring in 16% buys you a full turn of protection from everything and then draws an escalating pile of cards. Neither is required, both are obvious. So that is the whole thing. Here it is, all 99 cards at once. That is the full average list, every card in it. It is the composite of all 3,600 decks submitted to EDHREC. It lives on his commander page, it is linked in the description, and it shifts a little every week. 31 lands, 31 artifacts, and 1 jellyfish holding the whole thing up. A 34-cent commander who reads the top of your library and then casts it for free. Buy the 2 commons first, buy the top when you can, Let the reservoir finish it. Average list linked below. This is EDHdex.